What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Thursday night football live stream. Joined by my friend Dan Koob at Sporttrade. Dagger Dan. In college, they called him Dirty Dan. Dan, how are you?
I'm not going to dispute that claim. I'm great, Matt. Thanks for having me on. I'm Dagger Dan when I win, and I'm just a co-host when I lose. I'm just trying to get better with the rest of us.
Sure,
I think that's how gambling Twitter, gambling X works, right?
Gambling X, yes.
You only pimp your wins, and you don't mention it when you lose. So I'm leaning wholeheartedly into that.
Yeah, I mean, when we have a bad day, I just delete the live stream, and there's literally no evidence of anything that we say.
Great idea.
Thank you.
Love that idea. Yep, yeah, I love that. Anytime a tater time doesn't hit, did it actually happen? I don't think so.
I don't even know what.
Find a record of it.
What's tater time? Is that another thing that someone has been doing? I'm not even familiar with.
That's when I make my child tater tots. That's tater time.
That sounds pretty interesting. All right. Well, now that we got the tater tots conversation out of the way, we will be discussing, as you can imagine, Thursday night football betting preview. I'm actually very excited. I think it's going to be a good game, Lions versus Packers. Both teams are good. Both teams are 2-1. Nice divisional matchup in Lambeau. Then we will set our sights on some week 4 lines that we are on. I have a lot that I liked for this week. I have 5 regular, just main lines, 4 underdogs that I like to win straight up. So you can roast me on the 9 picks that I have. I avoided the Vikings this week. And so I think you'll thank me for that.
Good for your health. Yeah,
also good for my health. That is definitely true. But we'll just start off. I guess we should start off. You work at Sporttrade. You want to just do a quick intro into what Sporttrade is while we have you on here.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity to be a complete shill. Sporttrade available in Colorado and New Jersey. If you want to sign up, use promo code MODI in order to do so. There it is. 3 weeks in a row. Matt's got his afternoon coffee.
Always.
What's your order again?
Pumpkin cream cold brew. They're phenomenal.
Right. Yes. You love 800 grams of sugar in the afternoon.
Directly into my veins.
Yeah. So Sporttrade. If you love great pricing, you love the best odds, the best in play, we are the app for you. Make sure you sign up using code MODI, M-O-D-I. So Matt gets a little love. We're available in New Jersey and in Colorado. Matt can attest to this now that we've been in Colorado for the last month. Great odds, great pricing, and amazing in play. If those things matter to you, sign up for the app.
100%. Yeah, there have been more than one time where I've been like just looking through main lines and Sporttrade literally, has the best odds on both teams' money line. Literally both teams.
Yeah.
Or the best line for like a spread. They'll have like 10 cents of juice on each, 10 cents of juice, which is crazy, like minus 105 each way. It's funny. A lot of times I know we have a partnership. I'll just put up the best odds on a screen. 75% of the time they're at Sporttrade, and that's not even me just shilling the company that I have a partnership with. It's literally just the best odds. Like week 2, I gave out 4 underdog picks. All 4 had the best odds on Sporttrade. That's just how it went. Yeah. Make sure if you're in Colorado or New Jersey to sign up using my last name, not M-I-D-I. Make sure there's no typo, which it did happen in the past.
We did have one of those. I'm frantically searching through the odd screens to try to pick out. I'm going to guess the dogs that you like this week. I'm like frantically searching real quick while you're talking to try to make sure I guess. You said you have 4 dogs you like?
4 dogs. Only one of them this week was on the best odds were offered on Sporttrade, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm just
looking in general. Sure, I'm just looking in general.
Sure. You can guess. I'll tell you which ones I like or not. I do have a sneak preview. I do like the dog for tonight, which we can get into. Very professional intro or transition from myself. Props to me.
You're too hard on yourself. You're way too hard on yourself. I think you're doing a great job. You've got 5,000 subscriptions on YouTube. You're doing something right.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm still working on the host aspect of things. It's not quite a natural thing for me to do. I just like to fire off takes off the cuff. I'm just riffing, as Daryl Morey famously said. I'm just riffing, baby.
Well, a lot of people make a lot of money at ESPN doing the same thing.
That's true. So Lions, Packers. I'll let you go first. We see the Lions. I'm guessing as of when I made this graphic, though, that -1 is no longer offered. It looks like the best odds you can get on them, if you are on the Lions, is -2. If you're on the Packers, they're +2.5. So main lines, money line, spread total. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, this number's been bouncing around a little bit. MGM does have Detroit -1.5, if that
Do that?
interests you. But yeah, and this number has basically lived between 1.5, 2, and 2.5 throughout the entire week. There really hasn't been a ton of movement. We're going to talk about this a little bit more on the Sporttrade show at 8 o'clock tonight, which basically dissects line movement throughout the week. But the thing with this game that's interesting, Matt, is basically we've known everything injury-wise about this game since last week. David Bakhtiari didn't play on Sunday. Elton Jenkins didn't play on Sunday. Those are two Pro Bowl offensive linemen, the entire left side of the line for the Packers. We kind of suspected that they were sitting Aaron Jones to give him an opportunity to play today. Same with Christian Watson. So that has all sort of been baked in, at least in my opinion, into this line. So we've just sort of seen very minor line movement to this point. I absolutely love the Packers plus 2.5 tonight.
There we go.
On Sporttrade. And I actually like them on the money line as well. It's plus 120 at last check. Now, before we went live, I just checked all of the numbers here because I've been tracking them throughout the week. There's a little late movement. Now, it's small, right? It's not huge movement, but there is a little late push here, 5 o'clock Eastern time, towards Detroit. I just kind of want to run through my thought process here. I know you as the host, you're a real taskmaster. You love to just give me the pick, Dan. Give me the pick. I don't care about your reasoning. Nobody cares about reasoning. Just spoon feed me. But I think it's important that people understand, at least, I'm not a professional bettor, but I feel like I do have a process of sorts. I'm not only price sensitive, but I do like to put a little reason because I try to watch every single game. Thanks to Sunday Ticket now being on YouTube TV.
Yeah.
I at least get to watch most of every single game. So a couple of things here. This is somewhat anecdotal, but I do think it leads to a larger sample size, which is quick turnaround. So Dan Campbell on short weeks, 0-4, an average margin of defeat of 5.5 points. Now, the flip side of that good.
I was just real quick question. Does short week include Monday night to the following Sunday, or is it just Thursday game? Okay, got it. So any
or late in the season Saturday games too, like a Sunday to Saturday.
So anytime it's not 7 days, basically.
Yep.
Short. Yeah.
So 0-4, average margin defeat of 5.5 points. Conversely, now I think this is a large enough sample size. Everybody loves to talk about Andy Reid out of a bye.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 30 years of data to back that up, right? Matt LaFleur on short weeks, 7-2. Okay. So that's at least trending towards, I hate even to use the word trend, but that's at least like getting towards a data set that we could actually use. Something that I also want to touch on are the home and road splits for Jared Goff are amazing. I don't know if you built a graphic for this, but I dove in really deep to this because, look, nobody cares. You and I talk about this on Sundays every Sunday. Nobody cares, but he is my fantasy quarterback. So I wanted to dive into this for tonight. In his time in Detroit, this is fascinating to me. 19-game sample size playing at Ford Field with the Lions. A 68.6% completion percentage, 40 touchdowns and 8 interceptions at home. On the road, 15 games. So almost a full season, 21, 22, and 1 road game so far in 2023. 63.5% completion percentage, so 5 percentage points lower, 13 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Not great. 3 of those touchdowns and 355 of those yards came in a loss last year in Carolina. So that, to me, looking over a 15-game sample, is a complete outlier. We call that in horse racing, we call that a bounce effort. Like you just throw it out. I don't really care about it. So that means in the other 14 road games Jared Goff has played for Detroit, he's thrown 10 touchdowns and 9 interceptions with an average yards per game of 229.
That's crazy.
That's bad. That's not good.
It's not good. Not great. Bob.
And when you zoom out, right, Joe Barry, much maligned defensive coordinator for the Packers. A lot of the Packers fan base want him gone. I mean, they said the same thing about Dom Capers for 10 years. I used to cover that team.
Yeah.
224 yards passing, 137 yards passing, 238 yards passing, and 246 yards passing. So you can kind of see where I'm going here with this. I am anticipating, just based upon that sample size, a 14-game sample size, including a 4-game sample size against this specific defensive coordinator. I'm anticipating a down effort from the Lions offense. So I like the Packers. I like the Packers on the spread. I like them on the money line. And I also have a prop bet pursuant to that I also think will be very profitable.
I am in 100% agreement with you. I didn't look as much into the Jared Goff stats as you did. I just know that they're ridiculous home road splits. So nicely done on your end. I'm all over the Packers on this one as well. I love the fact that they're at home. I also think, and this isn't that hot of a take, I think Jordan Love is good. I'm not necessarily saying that he's going to be like Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers type good, but I think he's a legitimate quarterback. I love the fact that even though he's young, I guess young into his starting career, he's in his fourth year as a player. He's got the highest ADOT in the NFL of all quarterbacks. He's got the fourth highest, according to DVOA. He's played as the fourth best quarterback in the NFL.
Did you get the sub? Did you get the subscription for DVOA?
DVOA. I love DVOA.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't done it. I need to. I miss it. I'm sorry.
I can write it off on my taxes, so that's what I'm planning on doing. But yeah, so fourth best QB according to DVOA, and then he's a little bit scattershot. Like his accuracy numbers aren't great. I was looking at this is from Fantasy Life. Like they have actually really good advanced data on like a lot of stuff, but passing accuracy specifically, like bad target percentage, on target percentage, all that stuff. He is pretty high in terms of bad target percentage. So that's something that he definitely needs to clean up. And you kind of notice that when he's missing Luke Musgrave wide open down the field, which I feel like he's done like 6 times. But the Packers are well balanced. Like they have the 10th best offense, the 9th best defense, 9th best offense and 10th best defense. They're getting presumably Aaron Jones and Christian Watson back. Their offensive line does make me a little bit nervous, but I mean, they haven't had David Bakhtiari in like 3 years. Like, poor guy just has not been able to get healthy forever.
One of my favorite people. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I mean, he was a legend on what movie? He was in
in Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect, yeah.
He was in Pitch Perfect. He was very excited about that.
Yeah, I'm sure, as he should have been. So, sorry, I'm just switching back and forth through my notes. Nice ode to Ray Allen there, switching back and forth.
Oh, come on. Clean it up. Come on.
It's my own program. I can say what I want.
That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't really have much. You said a lot of the points I had to make. I'm all over the Packers on this one. They are one of my underdogs for the day. I got them at plus 111, so the odds moved against me, unfortunately. I did not get the best CLV. I definitely would take plus 120 at Sporttrade. You can also get that if you're not in Colorado or New Jersey at DraftKings and Barstool. The plus 2.5 I like. I kind of like the money line better. Like if you're getting 3, I think that'd be a different story because that's a key number. But if I had to choose, I mean, I'll take Packers on the spread, but my official play that I'm actually tracking is Packers money line.
How much credence do you give to like a lot of the outside of DVOA, right? You've got like Massey Peabody rankings, ESPN FBI, like team rank. Like how much credence do you give to those?
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel about almost a lot of advanced stats. I don't necessarily think one is like the source of truth. I try to find multiple places that kind of tell the same story. So like if DVOA is on it and PFF, I think I give the least amount of credence to. PFF is literally just like, they're kind of wacky. I've been trying to find both EPA per play and success rate. I don't know where to get those. I Googled it. Google didn't tell me the answer. So DVOA, I think I give the most credit to. And then everything after that, like I said, it's if they all tell the same story, then I'll believe it. But if there's one outlier or if they're all kind of scattershot, then I won't put that much into it.
Yeah. So you can find success rate at Pro Football Reference. You can find what was the other
That's
one?
Right.
EPA.
You told me that last week, didn't you?
Yeah. So EPA you can find on team rankings. I sort of agree with you. So I looked up the Massey Peabody, the unabated team rankings, FBI team rankings, power rank from Ed Fang, and Unpredictable. And they all said the same exact thing, which I thought was kind of interesting. And that's these two teams are basically even. They all had Detroit slightly ahead of Green Bay, but not by a sizable margin.
Sure.
So I think they're pretty equal. Packers have been playing their entire season without Christian Watson, 2.5 games without Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't have the left side of the offensive line tonight, but they didn't last week, and they didn't give up a sack. I think the Jordan Love thing is interesting. I think he is a question mark from the standpoint of the Packers haven't run a lot of plays.
Yeah.
So while he's thrown 7 touchdowns and his ADOT is ridiculous, they just kind of chuck it vertically.
I love it, which is great.
It's great, but like, you know, you look at his completions and his attempts, like they just haven't thrown a ton of passes yet,
Yeah,
honestly. AJ Dillon's been a complete fart.
he's terrible.
Like
Yeah, we'll
he's
talk about him
averaging
later.
like, yeah, like 2 yards a carry. Like he just sucks.
Yeah,
So when I look at that, I just think these two teams are pretty equal. I think the market right now is high on Detroit to beat, you know, a good Chiefs team. Presumably, they go out and they dominate the same Falcons team that beat the Packers the week before. So I think people
yeah.
are kind of looking at that causation and saying, "Oh, well, Detroit must be better." But I'm just not convinced yet. I'm really not.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Puneet Panda says, Matt, can you go back to the way you used to give us props in the days? To be honest, I don't know what that means. If there's some context that can be added there. I legitimately don't know what that means.
Does he mean like immediately so he can stop watching?
It's possible that that might be what he means. I do have one of my best friends in the entire world. His name is Puneet. I don't think he's Puneet Panda's 984, but I did send a screenshot to him. I'm going to ask him if this is him just trolling me. If it's not, please just add some context. But in the over-under, I know we haven't talked about it. I don't have a play there on the over-under. I don't have any type of analysis either way. I don't know if you have anything on the over-under. We can move on to player props.
I just want to look and see what it's at. Yeah, over 44.5 and under 55.5. That's at FanDuel. Over 44.5. The best line is at Sporttrade -106.
So I got that down a little bit.
Yeah, Thursday's just weird, man.
Yeah.
I'm not super into it. Actually, it's kind of settled back to where it was. So it opened at 44.5. It was up to 46.5 as of yesterday. And no, I'm sorry, the early mornings this morning around 9 a.m. and it got that back down to 44. So 46, I guess, a bridge too far. Now down to 44.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't really. I wouldn't be surprised if it went over. Wouldn't be surprised if it went under. It's complete no touch for me.
Yeah.
Moving on to player props. So I have two that I officially gave out on my YouTube channel. I'm actually adding a third that I decided after I made this graphic. But I like both of the tight ends, Laporta and Musgrave. Laporta is at 43. Where are my notes?
43.5.
43.5, and Luke Musgrave is at 36.5. So one thing that I have noticed with player props, and I think we talked about this when Tom was on, FanDuel seems to be the sharpest when it comes to player props. There's a lot of times where FanDuel is an outlier, and you'll think like, oh, I should take advantage of that and place that on FanDuel. And then when you do that, a lot of times those markets catch up to FanDuel. So I do look at them again, kind of like we talked about before. They're not my source of truth. Like I don't say, oh, I'm always betting against FanDuel. It's just like a data point. They have him at 38.5, his over under. I also was looking at props.cash. They have his over under. This is Musgrave at 51.73 receiving yards. Now I have no idea what goes into their projections. So I don't want to make it sound like they're like established the run or anything, but I do think their product is pretty good. Both these tight ends are good. They're rookies, which is kind of nobody cares about fantasy, but you want to fade them in fantasy, but they've both been pretty good. I feel like Jordan Love, as I mentioned, has missed Musgrave on like 7 deep targets where he's just wide open.
I have them both. I'm well aware.
Yeah. I actually just traded for Laporta today.
There you go. Laporta train.
Yeah. So the Lions, 22nd in DVOA at guarding the tight end. Musgrave had his best game of the season last week where he had 8 targets, rewarded the Packers, 6 receptions for 49 yards. And then on the Laporta side, I think he's the only tight end that's had 5 receptions in each of his first 3 starts. And he's also had his targets increase each week. It's gone from 5 in week 1 when he caught all 5. In week 2, he had 6 targets. Last week, he had 11, earning the trust of the quarterback of the offensive coordinator. FanDuel also has his over-under above this, and props.cash has his projection to be at 70 yards. So if he's even close to that, he's going to fly over 43.5. So those are my 2 ones that I did give out on my YouTube channel earlier. I have one more, but I will let you give out your bangers, and then I'll give my last one.
No, I love those. My only concern with the Musgrave one is just the dilution of targets because you've got guys coming back. Aaron Jones obviously sees a lot of attention in the passing game, and Christian Watson presumably will get 5 or 6 targets tonight. I like him personally, and I love Laporta. I mean, you just watch him move and shake. The dude's got a ton of juice, ton of wiggle in the middle of the field. Clearly, they've made it a priority to get him the football. He's the second on the Lions in targets behind Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
And the dude just has it. Like he's a bulldog in the run game too, which I love. and
It's got
that
the
means he's
juice.
going to earn trust. Yeah, he earns trust that way. So I'm with you on Laporta. I'm not so sure on Musgrave because his average catch, yards per catch is just really bad.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that. But I'm riding with you on Laporta. Mine is correlated to what I was talking about earlier with Jared Goff, and that's under 254.5 yards passing. Now, you mentioned FanDuel. His line at FanDuel is like 249.5.
I saw that. It's crazy.
And
Yeah, I did
that's
see
at
that.
minus 110. MGM's hanging 254.5 at minus 115. Now, like points in a football game, certainly not the same as yards throwing, right? But
Right.
I mean, for 5 extra cents, I'll take the extra 5 yards. Absolutely. So I'm very much on the under there for all the statistical reasons that I mentioned earlier. And do you want me to get on to my other prop, or do you want to go?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Give you your
Okay.
second one.
We're just going to flip it around. Aiden Hutchinson to record at least half a sack is plus money.
Okay, so
That's insane.
So basically over a quarter sacks. Is that
He has to get a half a sack, yes. So
That's pretty
over
good.
a quarter of a sack at plus money at FanDuel. Excuse me, not at FanDuel. That's at DraftKings.
DraftKings.
Here's why it's ridiculous. Again, I've been watching every down of the lines. It feels like Hutchinson had 2 sacks last week. He's got 2 in 3 games, and this line strikes me as whoever created this line was just looking at the stat line and said, "Oh, okay, he's averaging less than a sack a game. We'll put it there." The dude is one of the most active rushers in the NFL. He has figured it out, and the Lions move him all over the place. They run him as a 3-tech. They run him over both tackles, left and right. Again, Packers do not have their starting left side of the offensive line, and this dude is a bull. So I absolutely think at plus money, it's a no-brainer.
I like it. I'll definitely lock that in after we hop off. Yeah, I mean, I would say he's like a coach's son. Just has that motor. Sneaky athletic, any type
He's
of.
still in the gym now. He's literally
Yes.
He was in this morning. I guarantee you he'll be the last one to leave right before kickoff in Green Bay.
Yeah, absolute gym rat. I like it. My last one, you referenced him. I found this one after I already came out with that video, but AJ Dillon under 32.5 rushing yards. Like he's terrible. He can't move. Like he two yards per carry, and that's better than it looks when you watch it with your eyeballs. He looks like late career Frank Gore, but he's young and in his 20s and not 40 years old like Frank Gore was. Even Frank Gore is probably better than him. The Lions' passing defense is where you want to target them, not on the ground. They've been good on the ground basically the entire Dan Campbell since he's been there the past 2 years, and then plus 3 games. So I love AJ Dillon under. I will say all of these plays I give out are positive EV. I just don't market them as such because Oddsjam doesn't pay my checks anymore. So they are all positive expected value. I didn't totally get away from that. And then Mr. Mechanical, who is a loyal watcher / listener. I did see this earlier. Reynolds over 2.5 receptions, Laporta 40 yards. Reed. I just don't love like watering down props in a parlay. I lived that life before. It's something wonky always happens, especially having 2 guys on the Packers. As Dan said, they're getting some guys back. There's just more people to demand the ball in the offense with Aaron Jones and Christian Watson.
I like the Reynolds play though.
The Reynolds play is interesting. Great. Yeah, and he's still a little banged up, right? He's got the turf toe. Yeah. So he'll play, but yeah, still a little banged up. Yeah, Dillon's been awful. He's been absolutely awful.
Yeah, he's been disgusting.
Yeah. So all right, we're both on the Packers.
Quadzilla, more like Fraudzilla. Am I right?
I know. People were thinking he's going to be the next Saquon Barkley because of those quads, but it's all he does is just squat, I guess.
Not a lot of us can squat a lot of weight. Doesn't mean we're NFL running backs.
A lot of us, yes. A lot of us.
Many of us.
Yeah. All right. So we're both on the Packers. I'm on the 2 player props you see here, along with AJ Dillon under 32.5, and you are on for your player props.
Aiden Hutchinson to get a sack, at least a half a sack. That's plus 105, and then Goff under 254.5 yards passing at minus 115.
I like it. All
and
right,
Packers money line, Packers plus 2.5, whichever you like.
Yeah, sure. All right, I like it. All right, we can move on now to week 4 lines that we like. As I mentioned, I have a lot. Technically 4 underdogs. One of them we already talked about.
Let me guess. Can I guess them? Yeah. Packers, Bucks, Colts, Dolphins.
Nope. So you got 2. Packers, Dolphins.
All right.
And then my last 2, Seahawks and Falcons. The Seahawks, I think, I got them at plus 110. which was a gift.
Okay.
I think that's been bet down now to like a pick 'em. If that's what someone, let's see, that's what someone told me. Yeah, so now they're minus 110. So I will take the CLVW there.
Okay, that's good.
Technically not even underdog, not even technically. They aren't an underdog anymore. They're now the favorite. I never understood that line. They were plus 2.5. I think I got their spread, and I got them at plus 2.5 on Sporttrade. Thank you, Sporttrade.
Yeah.
And I got their money line. It didn't make sense to me. Why are the Giants favored? Well, they're not. But why were the Giants favored over Seattle? It didn't make any sense to me. I don't even need to go into that one because the odds have proven me correct. The Dolphins, I'm just a believer, and we can spend some more time on this one because the game's going to be awesome. I'm a believer in the Dolphins. They're getting Waddle back. They have basically a track team and a head coach that's designed to get his guys in space. Their defense is a little bit hit or miss, but they at least have talent. Like they have some pass rushers in Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. Xavier Howard isn't quite as good as he was like 3 years ago, but he's still pretty good. And yeah, I'm all over the Dolphins.
No, I'm with you. That's one of the games I like. I was able to get it at +3 earlier this week. I just think they're the best team in the NFL right now. I think the Bills are a little soft. They've gotten fat and happy the last 2 weeks on inferior opponents. And not to say that Denver's any good, right? But they at least put 70 on them. And that Commanders game was 16-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was.
And Sam Howell just decided to poop down his leg. So not as impressed with that as the final score would indicate.
I agree with you. I watched that game. The Commanders had the ball at the 1 and got stuffed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the next drive, but later in the first half, they had the ball at the goal line. Sam Howell threw a pick. That game could have easily been flip-flopped with the Commanders winning, despite the final score being like 37-3. All right. So the Falcons aspect of it, why are we trusting the Jaguars? I know it's a London game. If you want to pretend that they're the London team, but
why are you trusting Desmond Ridder ever?
Well, I'm more so trusting the at least running game of the Falcons. I think that at least they have their identity. No, you're not with me.
I look, you were on the witching hour with me on Sunday.
He's terrible.
Never again. Never again. I will never back Desmond Ridder ever again. I can't do it. I won't do it. I refuse. The Saints literally said, or whoever they played, they were like, hey, guess what? You're not going to run on us. We're going to make Desmond Ridder throw 10-yard hitches. And he couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. He was terrible. This is more of a play on just the Jaguars being losers. And at least I trust the fact that the Falcons know what they are. They're a running team. And if they get down again, then it's the same thing's going to happen again. But they're a team built to play from the lead. So if they could just get a couple turnovers. So, all right. What else? So you talked about the Dolphins. What else do you have that you liked for week 4?
I like the Browns -2.5. I think the Browns defense is unbelievable. I think they've got skill at all 3 levels. They've got speed. They've got toughness. And they've got Myles Garrett, which no other team has.
That's true.
I really like them. And offensively, they're sort of figuring it out a little bit. But that defense is just so damn good that I think 2.5 this weekend against a Ravens team that, like every year, the Ravens have a ton of injuries. I'm feeling this Browns team. I don't have anything to indicate, process or anything like that. I'm just watching the games, and the eye test for me right now is that defense is going to be almost impossible to score on.
They're one of mine. Browns -2.5. I got them at -105. I think that that same line is -115 now. So another CLV dub for me.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I don't get how this happens every year with the Ravens. They're down their top 3 running backs. I guess Gus Edwards is probably going to be back because he was concussed last week, and he looks like he's going to be back. But I totally agree. I don't trust the Ravens offense. I don't trust Deshaun Watson, but I don't think I need to because the infrastructure around Deshaun Watson is a lot better. The one that I don't know if you're going to like this one or not. I took the Raiders +5 against the Chargers. 5 points is too many points to ever give the Chargers.
I just think they're radioactive. I think they're like the Chargers are Chernobyl. They might as well be something like that. I want nothing to do with the Chargers until they fire Brandon Staley. I've said it a million times. Like as soon as that guy gets out of there, I'm back on board. But until that day, you just can't trust him. Guy was a defensive wizard because he had Aaron Donald for a year, and they've had a horrible defense 3 straight seasons. I'm not interested.
I can't believe
that offensively, Kellen Moore, they're a wagon. But I want nothing to do with that.
I can't believe that they kept Brandon Staley after last year. I think Kellen Moore's probably going to be their head coach after this year. Yeah,
I hope so.
The Raiders stink, and I have to take a CLVL on this one. It's 5.5 now. I got them at +5. You will never catch me giving 5 points to the Chargers. It's never going to happen. In games that they should blow them out, they're not going to do it. I guess we didn't talk about this for the game tonight. Did you have any anytime touchdowns that you liked?
No, but I appreciate that he's asking for this after telling you you're not handing out EV plays, but he wants an anytime touchdown, which to me is like
they're never
the worst market ever.
They're never EV.
Plays.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. They're never EV.
Again, like you just like convert that into a probability, right? Like if a guy's like +200 to score a touchdown, you're saying a guy's got like a 38% chance of scoring a touchdown. Like it's so much lower than that.
Yeah. I mean, and then there are people like Travis Kelce, Christian McCaffrey that are minus like 160s, and to score.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
like 63%.
I know, and yeah, McCaffrey scored in like 12 straight games. I don't care. Like you'll never catch me laying that type of juice on an anytime touchdown. ICT guy asked who wins. I'm guessing this is about the game tonight. We're both on the Packers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's everything I had for week 4. Did you have anything else that we haven't talked about yet?
No, I think that's it. Smaller slate for me this weekend. Of course, we'll have the witching hour on Sunday, 3:15 to 4:15 p.m. over the Sporttrade feed. It's basically red zone for betting as these games are coming to an end. Crazy stuff happens, as Matt can attest. He had the Chargers last week against Kirk Cousins, who decided to waste 49 seconds and throw a pick, to which we all celebrated.
It was amazing.
Just reveled in that win for Matt.
It was great.
If I could real quick, so we are starting a new show tonight, 8 o'clock on Sporttrade's feed. It's Thursday Night Football with the Whale Capper. Drew Dinsick is a handicapper for football, for baseball, for tennis. We're actually doing something a little different. The show's going to start at 8. We're going to track the line movement from open to close, discuss where the market went, why it went that way, and then we're going to watch the first couple drives and see if the market is correct and make some pregame bets and in-game bets as well, depending on how the first couple drives are going. And that leads to a lot of good total betting, Matt. So we'll see what happens. But that's our first one. Drew's a great dude. And hopefully people can tune in.
Yeah. How can people tune into that?
Go to the Sporttrade feed on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch. It'll pop up around 8 o'clock.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Everybody that's watching here, definitely go tune into that. Cool. All right. Any parting words before we move on from today's live stream?
I love you guys.
That's like Mr. PFT.
But it's true. It's true. I mean, I mean, Puneet, I dragged you a little bit there, but I love you. Don't worry about it.
I love all my watchers, all my listeners. Even if you say mean things to me, we can take it. I'll just cry after the fact. Cool. All right. As always, appreciate you, Dan, for joining. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. There will be a live stream next week, so everything good there. Cool. All right, everybody, let's win all our bets tonight.